back, let's get to it and fit that rear bumper. So it is another day today, and I went to the shop and picked up spot weld drill bit. I want to try and take off that number plate bracket and then try and figure out a way if I can mount that bumper easily enough. If it's too hard, I'm going to put it in the too hard basket, and I'm going to start with maybe the rear spoiler on the car, and then I'll probably have a look at the vents on the bonnet. So the number plate has 6 spot welds. Once I've got those out, I'll whip this off, try the bumper and just see how difficult it is. While we're on the subject of number plates, that's the original number plate that I got with the car. And then there's this bad boy. Fuck your RB, EJ all day. Nissan owners, I don't agree with this. That was the previous owner who made that up. Anyway, spot weld, center punch, hammer, let's get going. That has come off. Anything you got to be really careful with to make sure that you punch a really solid hole for the tool to bite into. And if you don't, then you get things like this where it skips off and does a whole bunch of mess. Not such a big issue because 1, it's underneath the bumper, and 2, I'm going to be repainting the whole car anyway. Try and learn from my mistakes. Much bigger center hole than you think you need, and then you'll avoid things like this. So I did it out of 2 out of 6, so that's pretty average, but you know, I'm still learning. Trying to see if that rear bumper is going to work. Fingers crossed. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my gosh. This thing might actually just bolt straight up. Yeah, I'll show you. If this thing bolts straight up, it'll be the easiest body kit thing that I've ever done. Granted, this is only my 3rd body kit. So I think these 2 brackets that are very amazingly installed, by the way, I think there's a bolt that goes in through there, and then the second one utilizes this hole here. So I'll pull this bracket off, punch this out, and then refit it and see what happens. If that's the case, then Jamie, who's the one who made this body kit, if I ever go to Ireland, I'm going to buy you a beer, or a couple of beers, or a Guinness, or whatever the heck you Irish people drink. Ready for it? Go! Ah! So I've punched out both grommets. This one here, which I'm hoping I can just use these. I'm genuinely blown away by how easy that was. It's something that's so simple, right? You buy something and it bolts straight up, but the reality is most of the time when you're changing and modifying things like this, they say bolt on, but they're not. This was 100% bolt on, easy, well produced. All I can say is, Jamie, you've done an awesome job, mate. It's just the simple things. No drilling, no nothing required. And in the bottom is you just put an M6 bolt in and it just screws onto the other side. Super impressed, mate. You've done a great job. Time for the big wang. Still trying to mount that rear wing spoiler. I don't know what it's called. I've created a template that I attached to that, and I've put some holes in it. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it, but I'm going to give it a go. Looks a little bit rough, but I actually think it's going to do all right. I clearly did not pay any attention to these. I thought that these holes here were drilled by the previous owner because the spoiler that was on this car was not a genuine Subaru thing. The mark that I've made is off by a couple of mil here and a couple of mil here, which makes me think that they are going to use these original holes. So I'll try and use those. And then I come over here and look at this. The pen felt a bit weird, and it's because it went straight down the middle of the hole. The only ones I have to drill are the 4 little ones, which are like the aftermarket ones. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just so surprised that once again this spoiler or this wing is using the original mounting points. I'm just surprised that it's actually working. Jamie is a genius. Let's try and fit this bad boy. Bad boy spoiler. Not gonna spoil my day. What do I need? I need this super choice thing about this wing spoiler. I want to call it a wing. I feel like the bottom piece is a spoiler, that's a wing. One-handed. Sweet as that. Now, where is the hole? It's a classic one, isn't it? Where's the hole? You'd think I'd know it. Come on. Oh, yes. That's it. Yes. No, that's totally the wrong one. Let me reassess that. Oh, it's this one here. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I have to do some drilling. It's not a big deal. This boot's got 2 skins. I need to drill through the bottom skin. And then this one here, I should be able to access when I take this bump stop out, which is easy. Let's go for the back one. That one's in. That is on the piss. Where's the other bolt? Where is the hole? I love things that are easy. You know what? I'm still going to have to take one of these boot springs out. Check out my spoiler. Check out my wing. Have I got a big wing? Oh, I've got a big wing now. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's sitting more forward than I originally thought, but no, that's mint. Mint means good. Check out my wing. It's a big wing. I mean, it's a big black wing too. So I know I've already ranted and raved about how well this fits. Let me pop the boot and I will show you how well thought out this kit is. Alright, for like the 7th time tonight. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I didn't get that one. Where I've drilled the holes, check out the locations on the boot. Clearly, when Jamie's designed this, he's gone and missed, I'm going to try and get out of that light. So he's missed all these gussets, which is super cool. That's easy to do. But the other ones are like tucked up into here. So you can get your socket in through there. No need to modify the boot. And then the ones on the outside, originally I was thinking about drilling this out, but I'm just going to put a longer 6mm through here. This is actually super strong through here anyway. This should be the last ranting rave. Actually, from what I've learned, maybe there will be some more ranting raves to come, because something I've learned about this kit is just, it's awesome. Rightio, we are back at it. If I'm wearing my hat, it means I'm having a bad hair day. I should be wearing the hat pretty much all the time. I'd say I want to get that sill sorted so I can mount the guard along the A-pillar. And then after that, I want to get the bonnet sorted. We've actually picked up a panel stand. We've got to assemble that. And I've got a mate's Dremel tool. Thanks, Liam. Appreciate it. So once I've done that sill, take the bonnet off, upside down, strip everything from underneath, and then see if we can get these mounted. One panel stand constructed. Did I buy it because it was blue? Of course I did. It's the theme of the workshop. Now back to the sill. I've just got to remove the bottom, this trim at the bottom of the B-pillar, and then I can match the carbon sill wavy bits with the wavy bits in the sill. Technical term, I know, but yes, let's get that off, get that sill on there, and then we can figure out how and where we want to mount that A-pillar. So while I'm in here, I've found smashed glass on this side and on the other side, which makes me think at some point this car's been broken into. But can anyone tell me what that green gunk stuff is? It almost looks like some sort of like rust protection, but mold at the same time. Is that some sort of like special Subaru anti-rust stuff that they use? Looks yuck as. Lining up this incredibly well put together. Some plastic clips on the bottom that I've got to remove. 1, 2, 3, 4 clips. That's loud. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Anybody else talk to themselves when they work on cars? First sign of genius or madness? Come on, mate. Some things, I swear, should be just super easy. People make things look so easy on the internet. It's just a plastic clip. Come on, mate. That's half of it. Now, I think I've come to the realization that I'm used to working on BMWs. See, I've got a 318 Ti, mid-90s, 3 Series, but I find things on this car are quite lightweight. I don't know if it's just a Japanese thing versus like a German, but if I'm not careful, I can dent the sill really easily. And to be fair, I cut up some cars at work as well with some special hydraulic tools. Japanese cars of this era, of the 90s, are generally really easy to cut through. But when it comes to things like Volvos or Beamers or European cars, they are often a lot harder to cut through. Right, that's all the clips done. Let's get this sill on. Alright, first wavy piece. Like that's it. Okay, that's on. I do wonder if the trims will fit over this. I'm assuming we'll have to pop ripper these in, or I'm not sure. Don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I've actually got some stainless steel STI, like copies of the 22B runners along here. Should look amazing. I haven't even opened them. That's going to be the last thing I do on this car, probably. Anyways, let's have a look at that front. So I've just been a fair while getting this right-hand guard kind of mounted to the actual car. I came to the realization that this mount up here is actually going to change because I'm going to tub the guards to fit some bigger wheels. I'm not going to bother trying to get the gaps right and stuff because that mount will change, and then with that, that might affect up here. So I'm going to leave things as it is. I have screwed everything in and it is really solid, and the door does open and shut without any issues. The sill seems to line up really well, so the next thing is going to try and get those vents in. Let's see if that Dremel tool that I've got can actually cut through this aluminium bonnet. Awesome. Well, my phone kind of went flat, but it was good timing because I had smoko. I'll just show you what I've done. I'll just explain the process like real quickly. I ended up placing this as best I can, and it kind of locates in this corner, and then line up this with a divot in here. Trace a mark around here as best you can, and then I went about 5 mil past that, and that was my cut line. It doesn't actually matter too much if you go a little bit too far. Ideally, you want to be as close as you can so it locates it really nicely, but if you go too far, then it's just going to be underneath this, but it's still going to be covered. You won't see it. So once I've done that, you'll end up like this. The whole thing just slots in there quite nicely. That fits in really nice, and it locates and it moves about 1 millimeter around. So I was pretty close. I'm pretty happy with it. I've marked the edges around with a vivid, and then from there, I've actually drilled these holes. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then after that, I've flipped over the bonnet. Once the bonnet magically flips itself, hard to do with one hand, but I've had that on the bottom, and then I've used the top piece and effectively bolted it straight through the holes because they obviously mount together. Once I've done that and everything's secure, I've gone around with a scribe. I was going to go around with a vivid, but you can see the vivid doesn't quite get the edge right. What I'm going to do is cut around here very nicely, and I'm going to keep to this side of it, so that way I can come around with a bit of sandpaper or a file and actually clean it up to exactly where I want it, because this here actually sits into the bonnet slightly, so you need a bit of a clearance gap between the bonnet and here. And I think my best chance of getting it right is by cutting this on that side and then moving this way as I need to. So I'm going to hit this with a Dremel. Let's just see how we go. So it has been a few days. When I was here last, I managed to cut around with the Dremel and file it around and shape the hole where I thought I wanted it to be. And then I went to go fit the actual vent, and it didn't quite fit very well. I kind of left with my tail tucked between my legs, but it's been a few days and I've recovered. It's not as bad as I remember it, but I'll show you the result. This is the result that I got, and you can see that up in this corner, there's a big gap there. And then on this side as well, there's a gap here as well. I'm just gonna have to live with it, I think. Let's do a better job on that side. And this is gonna be take number 2. First step, I wanna clean it up, remove the original vent, use this as the template. Then I'm gonna mark around it, and then I'm gonna go an extra 5 millimeters. Once that extra line's done, then I'll cut out this ribbing, and then I'll reassess what I'm gonna do from there. I wanna do a better job from this side compared to that side. Let's get it cleaned up. Oh, that's looking better. Just looking at it was making me feel filthy, so I spent a bit of time cleaning it up. I've pretty much done this hole here. This thing fits nicely inside. To get the final bits, what I've done is I just put a bit of masking tape on the edge here, and you can see where it's been rubbing, where I've been putting it in and out. And that's where I've taken little bits extra out of it until the thing just sits in there perfectly, which this side does. I'm really happy with it. Just slots straight in, and she's in. What I'm gonna do now is attach this to the other side, scribe a mark around it, cut that out, and then see how we go. You can see the scribe line here, so that's what I'm going to go cut. I'm still going to cut on this side of the line, so that way I've got more error room to play with. So that is that part all cut out. I'm actually going to put this project on hold for a little bit. I need to get some Cleco pins. The reason why I want to get some Cleco pins is because this bottom piece, which locates the top half, I want to make sure that this is in exactly the right spot because it kind of can move around a little tiny bit. If that moves around and I don't get it right, then the gaps will be off, which is kind of the issue that I had with this one over here. This is going to go on hold. Can't find any in Christchurch. I might have to wait till I get my ones from Auckland. That's all we've got time for this week. Next week we will finish off those carbon vents and then we'll get on top of those Brembo brakes. Until then, I look forward to catching you later.